It's Thursday and Friday.
Hey!
Hey!
What's going on? Welcome to the show. We came on at the same time on Twitch and Facebook. I coordinated that. We were just only 2 minutes late. Ha 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 ha. Let's just start the show. Live from Los Angeles, this is Dre's Geek Philosophy, the Monday, September 18th edition. Welcome, 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 welcome Facebook, welcome Twitch, welcome iTunes. We have a second subscriber on iTunes. Another friend of mine from Nintendo. Both of our iTunes subscribers I've confirmed are both Nintendo employees.
We've increased our listenership 100-fold.
We did by 100%. We have increased our listenership on iTunes. We have two subscribers. Although right now, all my Nintendo friends are currently they spent the day flying. They were flying today to Phoenix, I believe. They went to Phoenix. They're having their national meeting. One of the things I really miss about working at Nintendo is they once a year they have all the reps fly into one city. Yeah. We go to some sort of resort or hotel, and then they tell us all about what the holiday plans are. And that's currently all my friends. A lot of my friends who are still at Nintendo are flying off that. Right now, they're probably getting drunk because the first night, it's usually hey, let's all get together. We're all jet lagged. Let's fill everyone with alcohol and food. And that was always my favorite night. I always liked that night. That night is always fun because everyone's like, hey, you're reunited with. Yeah. It's like a high school reunion, but every year. And that is one of the things I dearly miss, is seeing all my cohorts from Nintendo. You know, the last time they were in San Diego, I almost made the drive down there to go see them, but then I don't know, fate intervened, and it was like, oh, maybe you shouldn't come down. Maybe it probably wouldn't be a good idea if you came down. I'm like, who would I be pissing off? Remember the 7 years I went to meetings, there was always former reps. If they were nearby, they'd always come on by and say hello to everyone. And like, hey, maybe in the future I would be one of those reps who are like, hey, everybody. Yeah. It's like if they ever have a meeting in LA, which they never will, they always like going like resort-ish areas like San Diego or
resorts in Phoenix.
There actually are resorts in Phoenix.
Golf getaway.
Golf getaways, sir. Yes. Two of the meetings that I had with Nintendo were in Arizona. Actually, one of the meetings I was drunk virtually the entire time. Oh, wow. Literally, as soon as I got there, night one, I got sloshed and then continued to stay sloshed. Like, everyone would go to lunch and I would go to the bar. Because they'd give us a little card, like, here are all your meals. I'm like, cool. Like, I would use that at the bar. I'm like, yo, swipe off $20, give me a couple Jack and Cokes, bro. Yeah, there was one particular meeting where I was just drunk the entire time. I'd go back to meetings, I was like,
It sounds like 2014.
That was I don't remember what year it was, but I think it was before I met you, Mr. Sam, when I did that.
No, I'm talking about that sounds like my 2014.
Where you were just drunk the entire time. You're drunk and or high and or everything. But if any of my Nintendo friends eventually says, hey, I hope you guys have a good time, Phoenix, and hear all about Super Mario Odyssey and what they're going to do with the Switch and all the secrets that'll eventually get leaked out by someone who will get fired. I remember my very first meeting, it was Orlando in 2005. Like, all the stuff, it was before the Wii had come out. Or it was actually, it was the year before the Wii came out. They gave us all these details about the Wii, and then some asshole went and leaked all the information out. It was literally, the Nintendo Internet Ninjas found him really quick. Wow. Whatever company they subcontract to find shit, they found him, and he was fired within 24 hours. And then we all got a sternly worded email from Reggie Fils-Aimé himself. It said, we trust you reps with information to help you in the field. One of you chose to broke that trust. Like, damn. Yeah. And for a few years, they didn't trust us with shit. Because, hey, who knows if there's another asshole who's going to be like, oh, here, Kotaku. Here's some cool information. Here's the cool DS that's coming out next year. There's a legend. Oh, for 1 year, I remember I texted you. Yeah. Because your lovely girlfriend, Joanna Morales, she loves Legend of Zelda. And I texted you, I'm like, bro, there's something you're going to need to get your girlfriend this November. There's going to be a Legend of Zelda DS. Remember, I texted you. Yeah. Literally, after the meeting was over, I just texted this guy. I'm like, he needs to know this because you need to set aside $150 to buy this for your girlfriend.
Yeah. So, Nintendo decided to become people pleasers over the last week.
Oh, yes. It's funny. There's stuff I knew I was going to forget because stuff happens on Tuesday. And whatever happens on Tuesday, I always forget by the next Monday. Yeah. But thankfully, the man who is high all the time, Executive Producer Sam Zia, managed to remember. Nintendo. You're not low. You, my friend, are definitely not low. Nintendo announced that they were going to produce the shit out of Super Nintendo Classics, and next year bring back the NES Classic for people who are not able to get their hands on one. I was flabbergasted by that information.
Pleasantly flattered.
Pleasantly, it was like a good fart. One that doesn't smell really bad, like you get all the gas out and it feels good.
You know what I feel like they did it for?
Why?
Because there were so many people buying, hoarding them so that they can make money,
Because of the resellers.
Yeah.
Oh, generally Nintendo kind of...
So that resellers wouldn't be making more money on the systems than that.
Generally Nintendo doesn't care. Nintendo is kind of like, they don't like, well, as far as Japan is concerned, they don't see that. Because like a lot of these decisions, people think that Nintendo of America has any control. Nintendo of America has no control. Nintendo of America acts at the whim, at the courtesy of Nintendo of Japan. Nintendo Company Limited. That is what Nintendo. It's not called Nintendo of Japan. It's Nintendo Company Limited. NCL. Those three letters will scare most Nintendo reps. Whenever you hear NCL, it's like their buttholes tighten up. Because that means Japan, the home company. But for whatever reason, Nintendo Company Limited decided, hey, let's make more of these things. Maybe they did react to all the negative publicity about that. That could be a reason, or they saw an opportunity. Maybe we can make more money. It could be as simple as that. And heaven knows, maybe it's simply just to contradict me. Honestly, maybe because hey, Nintendo employees listen to this and watch this, so maybe the word got back up all the way up to the top. Like, you know what? Fuck that bald guy who used to work here. Let's make more of these things to fuck him and fuck all of his theories that he always says.
Hey, I think this is a good move as far as like.
It's a great move.
Well, they can make money on this.
Yeah. Like I said, it's not long term. It's not long term money. I mean, obviously they don't see a lot of return on investment on this, but they're buying goodwill.
Yeah, and not just that, the amount of money they spend producing it is probably not as huge as the money that they're going to make from it on those runs.
But Sam, as we've talked about here on the show before, they only have one factory. That's the thing. Yeah. They could be taking away from Switch production. Maybe they're looking at things. Maybe Switch it's calming down, because I'm starting to see. I posted a photo on Facebook the other day. Hey, I saw some Switches out in the wild. They had been hard to find for 6 months. From March up until recently, Switches have been hard to find. They're still hard to find in Japan.
Yeah.
Japan, it's still a struggle. Game developers talk about how they don't have there was a game developer. I forgot for what game it was. Oh, it was the developer for No More Heroes. He's like, he doesn't have a Switch because it's still a pain in the ass to try to find one in Japan.
Yeah.
And he could call Nintendo and get one, but he doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to disrespect regular consumers. Like, oh, I'm a consumer too.
Yeah.
I would rather wait until I can buy one at a store, which I think is actually kind of cool. I mean, he could totally.
Honor.
Right. Well, Japan is full of honor. You know, they are a very honorable society.
Yeah, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. But it's just, but honestly, to your point, yes, they're not just making money. I think they're purchasing goodwill here. Yeah. I'm sure it makes people feel better. Oh, we lost the internet on Switch. Rest in potatoes, rest in pepperonis. Let's see what happened.
Bring back the thing.
All right, I'll bring it back. Let's bring it back. This is the fun of doing everything live. I love doing things live because you never know when something fun could happen. Start broadcasting. Well, we're back on Twitch. All right. Well, let's see. The red light is preparing. Preparing. So anyway, while that tries to come back on the air, I don't know what's going on with that. Nope, it cannot connect the server.
Let it sit for a second.
Well, we'll let it sit. I'm sure my friend Crunchy Sashimi would be disappointed. Well, he wasn't watching right now, but he's one of our dedicated viewers on Twitch. But speaking of things that people are dedicated about, Sam.
Yeah.
Last Thursday, you went to a concert.
I did.
You invited me, but unfortunately, I had a board meeting with this gentleman over here to my right that I was not willing to miss. But you saw Tears for Fears and Hall and Oates.
Yeah, both.
Hall and Oates.
Both Hall and Oates. And Tears for Fears.
And Tears for Fears. That's a great double, especially since I've been listening to a lot of Pandora 80s. So that's been like really heavily in the rotation for me as I've been listening. Don't mind me. Please elaborate about this concert.
I've seen Hall & Oates once before.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that they were great. They last time I saw them, it was in Irvine. It was during the day. It was
back at the old the Irvine Meadows. Awesome.
And it was awesome. It was a great show. They had great energy and everything. It was about 2 years ago. And then this time around, they didn't take the stage until 9, and I get the feeling it was a little bit past Hall's bedtime.
Oh, really?
Because he was a little slow.
Because Hall's,
They
they're up
slowed
there.
every song down. They brought it down. Like, they turned it into kind of a smooth jazz kind of.
Private eyes are watching you?
At the very end, that's when they decided to play some of their more upbeat stuff and have the crowd going. But really, honestly, Tears for Fears stole the show.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
They were incredible. Seriously, Roland and Kurt, freaking phenomenal. Their voices still carry strong. Roland is on fire. They play amazingly, and they really had the crowd going. And,
Oh, that's fucking cool.
All of us left there saying, we really got to catch more Tears for Fears live. They're
Yeah,
really
that's cool.
good live.
It wasn't until recently I started listening to a lot more 80s on Pandora where I didn't. There's a lot of bands I didn't realize I was a fan of. Like, there's because I always felt like because of the way we grew up, where the internet, before the internet, when we grew up, where we listened to a song on the radio and the radio wouldn't necessarily tell us what song we just heard or the artist we just heard. So there's a lot. I feel there's a lot of songs from our generation that we know the songs, we hear the songs, but we have no idea what the title is. Yeah. And then even worse, we don't know who the artist is. Mm-hmm. And now, thanks to the internet and thanks to like streaming audio, we can see. Name of the artist, name of the song, what album it's from. Yeah. And I'm a Tears for Fears fan. Yeah. I did not know. Yeah. I loved so many of their songs. I'm like, I've heard their songs in movies and on the radio back in the day. And then you hear it, it permeates. Like, you hear like best ofs and then like, oh shit, I really like Tears for Fears.
That's the advantage that I've had working
in radio.
I get to I have the playlists there. Mm-hmm. In San Diego, I was, it was old school R&B and everything like that. So I got such a great education in music and who the artists were and what the songs were. And you want to know what a really, really big thing was later on, after I had stopped doing music radio and focused more on talk and sports, was Rock Band.
Oh, yeah. Rock Band, dude. Hell yeah. That
made an incredible impact on a lot of people learning about older music.
That I would have to include myself in that. I learned that I was a fan of a lot more music than I realized. I remember initially looking at like, old Guitar Hero and then later on Rock Band, realizing some of these songs, I'd see the title, I'm like, what song is this? And I would be playing it and I'm like, oh shit, I know this song. This song is bad fucking ass.
Yeah. Yeah, really, Tears for Fears had a song on Rock. Had a few songs on Rock Band, and some of them were just beautiful to play. And what you get I
can only imagine it live,
like how good musician-wise their musicianship is, and they really showed it on stage. They did a great job, and I got arguably the greatest shirt of all time.
Yes,
it's the Oates mustache.
The Oates mustache. That is hilarious. The Oates mustache. I know you love mustache. You love mustache jokes. I know that's.
Boy, do I ever.
And I'm sure back in your day, you loved to give a lot of women mustache rides.
Yeah, I was good at that.
Who wants a mustache ride?
But we're almost a month away from Halloween, too. I was thinking about going dressed as Oates for Halloween.
I mean, you can totally pull it off. Now that he has longer, doesn't he have like a little longer hair now?
Longer hair. My hair is
your hair is comparable right there, sir.
That. He shaved off his mustache. He looks a little funky with it, but I would grow the mustache just so I could go as 80s Oates.
I guess that would behoove me to find a blonde wig and shave my face and be Hall. It would behoove me.
Here she comes.
Watch out, boys. Oh, no, we can't really sing on this when we post this on iTunes.
No, we're not singing.
We're not singing. We're merely quoting the songs.
Yes.
We are not singing. There's no audio. There is no music.
It's a man-eater.
It's a man-eater. There's 5 naked guys fucking you.
Yes.
5 naked guys are fucking you, fucking.
Oh, it was great.
Copyright Sam Zia.
Yeah, there was a lot of songs that, like, during the Hall & Oates set, both Koch and I began singing the dirty version.
Of course you both did. Well, I mean, yeah, you guys are famous for doing that back in karaoke. Where was it? Koch would do a hey there, Delilah, but
hey there, vagina.
Hey there, vagina. Yes. No, apparently we're just not going to be on Twitch tonight, apparently. Thankfully, we have enough internet to stay on Facebook. Hey, Facebook! And, of course, we're recording this for our two iTunes subscribers. Two iTunes subscribers. Yeah, it's just...
Us!
Thank you. I'd like to thank, you know what, I'm going to make a special shout out to Rick Mears and Malin Terrell Evans. Thank you both, gentlemen, for subscribing to the show. A little quick shout out for you. That's the bonus for being personal friends of mine and letting me know that you subscribed. Little shout outs like that, it really go a long way.
Patreon page for these two guys?
What?
We get some burgers afterwards.
Send them some burgers.
Yeah.
Well, one's in Seattle, the other's in Sacramento, so it's kind of tough to...
If you contribute $25 to your Patreon page, you can come down and have Steak and Shake with us.
There you go.
Hey, you know,
We'll be using the $25 to pay
for the Steak and Shake, but hey,
It works out.
that, you know what? That's not a bad idea. I'm sure we can find some Patreons who want to... People who are not friends of mine who want to come on the show. If it's obviously a friend of mine, hey, come on down. We had one friend who kept saying he wanted to come down. Jason.
Galindo?
Yeah.
I'm calling him out.
Yeah, Jason Galindo. Yeah, he wanted to come down and be on the show, but
Yeah.
No.
Seriously.
I couldn't get out of work. I couldn't get out, man.
Well,
Sorry.
are
Fuck,
you
man.
watching your dad in his Las Vegas residency right now?
See, this gentleman, Jason, he looks like Lionel Richie.
Oh.
Lionel Richie's son.
Lionel Richie's son. No, he doesn't look like. He looks like his son. I'll show you photos later.
Yeah, all the photos we have of him are of him dancing on the ceiling.
All night long.
All night long. Does he call you from time to time? And...
Hello. Ask us if he's the one we're looking for.
Did you see the mat?
Yes, the doormat. One of Sam's neighbors has a doormat where it's Lionel Richie. It's hello. Is it me you're looking for?
We might need to post that picture on the Dre's
Dre's Geek Philosophy website. Oh, Joseph Kasparian.
Dre's Greek Falafel.
Dre's Greek Falafel.
that sounds delicious.
Dre's Greek Falafel.
That does sound really good.
That's some
Hey,
weird,
you know what? If I can figure out, if you get me the recipe, I'll cook it.
that's some weird fusion.
That might
stuff
be
right
like
there,
a sponsorship with a restaurant.
If you mention Dre's Geek Philosophy, you get a $5 discount on Dre's Greek Falafel.
Falafel. That's the theme restaurant
It's a theme.
for this podcast.
Yeah, in 20 years, when this is successful, and I'm a 57-year-old man.
You know, they don't
Well,
allow me
live
to
from Los Angeles, I've lost track of what I'm doing.
You know, they don't allow me to go to the Greek place by my place anymore.
What?
Yeah, no, they don't let me go there anymore because I went there and the food wasn't good, and I started really complaining and getting really pissed off about it. It was a really shitty falafel, and they ended up calling the cops, and I ended up
wow.
No, seriously, it was a big thing.
What?
No, at the end of it all, I became unlawfully awful because of an awful falafel.
You're fired. I believe you had me going. You reeled me in. I was like, really? I mean, I could believe Sam Zia causing a ruckus. I've seen you mad before. I have seen Sam Zia enraged before, and I could believe Sam Zia would be so mad that they would call the cops. But we totally. I don't know about you. I feel like you probably didn't walk into that one.
I don't know. I was halfway.
You had 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Yeah.
You believed it. I was buying it, and then and then you hit us with the friggin' puns.
That was a ton.
I felt like McGregor being pummeled by frickin' Mayweather. Pun. What the fuck? I just got a black guy for a black guy. For fuck's sake. I was saying, Joseph Kasparian here on Facebook Live said, for Steak and Shake, I will make new friends.
Nice.
There you go. I know, Joseph, you can make the drive on over here from Laverne, from the Laverne area. Or I forgot, were you in Laverne or Monte? I forgot, my friend. I just know that we met at Target back when I was the Nintendo representative. Man, you know what? I want to have a moment of silence. We're going to have a moment of silence here. You know what? I usually don't care about celebrity deaths most of the time. A lot of times I'm kind of like, everyone dies. You know, I soon will be taken from the mortal coil at some point in my life. The way I'm living my life, I'm sure it'll be sooner rather than later. But most of the time, it has to be someone like I really feel like his impact. Like when Bowie died last year, yeah, that fucked me up because Bowie was freaking boring. Earlier this year when Chris Cornell passed away, that really messed me up. But most of the time, if it's just someone I'm like, oh, that's a famous person, okay, died. But someone from my childhood passed away yesterday. And as anyone who's listened to this for a long time or watched this show for a long time, I love professional wrestling. As I burp right through the middle of that. The quality podcasting you get here at Dre's Greek Falafel.
falafel.
You're welcome.
We're making that shirt, man.
Yeah, we'll just go to 1 hour tees. We'll set up we'll set up a t-shirt store for the podcast, and that's gonna be one of the first shows. Trey's Greek falafel.
It's like you in an apron.
Me in an apron with a chef's hat.
Yeah.
And if you visit our Patreon page and contribute $75, you can be a part of Trey's
Greek falafel.
Get the ground floor.
Get in on the ground floor on the Patreon. So I love professional wrestling,
Yeah.
and last night one of the great voices of professional wrestling, one of the great personalities,
One of the great minds.
the mind, that's part of his gimmick, Bobby the Brain Heenan. If anyone is a wrestling fan, anyone who's been a wrestling fan any time in the last 20 years, you know who Bobby the Brain Heenan is. He goes all, he was a manager, he was a commentator, he actually was a wrestler when he was much younger.
He was the Weasel.
He was the Weasel. Yeah, he called himself the Brain, but he was also the Weasel. But I was one of the best talkers. He was very good at making an entire arena hate him.
Oh, wow.
That's a problem a lot of these professional wrestlers have today. It's very hard for them to be hated. Like they try to be the cool bad guy. Like, I'm the cool guy that, oh, I'm bad, but you all like me. Or like, it's weird. But no, Bobby, he relished the fact that everyone hated him, and he incited it. He called everyone humanoids. Like, they're not human. They're humanoids. They're morons. And he was so great in inciting rage out of one of his famous broadcast partners was Gorilla Monsoon.
Oh, God.
Rest in peace, Gorilla, as well. And those two together were freaking magic. Even if you weren't a wrestling fan, you would just be entertained at their banter just going back and forth. Constantly, Gorilla would say, "Will you stop?" Because Bobby would say something ridiculous, stuff that would not make it today because it wouldn't be PC. Because all the Mexican jokes he's making, poor Tito Santana, my God, all the time. Like the flying burrito, that's what he'd call his flying forearm. He needs to get back to his taco truck. Like, man, he really wouldn't get away with this shit today.
No, but he knew how to draw heat towards people, and especially if people who were not good at doing promos themselves, weren't good at drawing heat themselves.
Yeah.
You just put him in as their manager, and he is God.
Yeah, like the greatest example is Andre the Giant, who was a good guy for like most of it, like throughout the 70s and in the early 80s. He was always a good guy, but at some point in the early 80s, they made him a bad guy, and his manager was Bobby Heenan. It was Bobby Heenan had turned him bad, and now everyone where everyone had loved, oh, Andre, oh, anybody want a peanut? You know, everyone loved that guy, but he was so good at creating negativity towards a person, he got everyone to boo Andre the Giant, and which back then during wrestling, because they had a big heyday in the early 80s, so the rock and wrestling, they were on MTV back when MTV played music, and when MTV was still relevant. Ha! Back when it was relevant.
Back when there was actually a video.
There was actually music videos. Yeah.
I actually watched it so much I could tell you what videos would be in
the rotation. Of course you would.
Because I remember, if I wanted to see the video for MC Hammer, Too Legit to Quit, then I had to sit through Unskinny Bop.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that, because I remember in the late 80s when The Simpsons became a thing, and there was a music video for Do the Bartman.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I remember during the summer, if I turned on the TV at like 2:05, it would come on. They ran such a tight rotation on their music videos. Like, if you want to see a video, I'd have to run, like, oh my God, it's like 2:10. I just missed the end of the video. So like the next day, I would turn it on at 2:05. I'm like, all right, Do the Bartman. Fuck yeah. It was really funny. It was like, it was like original Simpsons animation, but in this weird song, Do the Bartman. But yeah, no, Bobby Heenan was great. Sam, do you have any memories of Bobby the Brain Heenan? Because I know I have my favorite Bobby the Brain Heenan moment. Do you have anything that stands out? Because I feel like maybe you're more of a wrestling fan when you were younger. Because I know you always favor the old school, like the Macho Man ran the 7 shot.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely an old school wrestling fan, and that's the thing. If it wasn't for the WWE Network, I would still think about him every once in a while, but I wouldn't really remember a lot of the stuff. Since I've been watching a lot of the old school, especially the old school Saturday Night Main Events, I've just been watching that nonstop.
Because God, they have those little silly skits.
Yeah.
Where he'd be involved a lot.
And jeez. There was so many great ones. You know what? It's not so much any specific moment. It's how he was able to, at his age and size, fly out of over the top rope and land on his feet out of the ring.
Yeah, no,
Like,
it was,
he knew how to get the hell out of the ring.
I think he was a wrestler early
Yeah.
on. He definitely was a part of the
He knew how to take bumps. The time, okay, a good memory was when what was it, Matilda, the bulldog, went after him.
Yes, that's right.
Like that.
What
and
are
he
the
came
British
in wearing,
Bulldogs
like,
versus
the-
whatever
like the-
team he was managing?
He came in wearing the jacket so that the dog could attack.
Oh,
him.
that's right. Yeah, he was. That was something that I feel that's something that's missing today. He was willing to do ridiculous shit
Yeah.
to make the other person look good. Because that's something that's missing a lot of days. Like, people are not, they want to make themselves look good. Because of course, like I said, it's part of a performance.
Yeah.
Wrestling is a performance. It's an athletic performance, but sometimes these people are not willing to make themselves look bad to help someone else out. Where Bobby the Brain Machine, he was willing to, the Ultimate Warrior would knock him out and put him in a weasel suit, and he'd wake up in a weasel suit, like, oh, and he's trying to take out the weasel, the tail's flying around, and he's like flipping and flopping in the ring.
How he was held out of the first Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, he couldn't get inside the first Monday Night Raw. It was
remember
like
that.
he dressed up as an old lady trying to get in.
Yeah.
But my favorite Bobby the Brain Heenan performance, I'll say it's at his best. I say peak Heenan was the 1992 Royal Rumble.
Okay,
That-
you have to remind me which one this was.
No, I'm about to elaborate. Yes, because around that time, Ric Flair had left WCW and came to the WWF, and Bobby Heenan became basically like his manager or his associate. He was his business associate. I can't manage Mr. Flair, but I will be his business manager, his business associate. And so Bobby Heenan, he was on the call for that Royal Rumble, and Ric Flair came in. He was the second entrant, or he was second or third. He was really early, and he put on Flair lasted the entire match, and Heenan was just terrified the entire time. This was his investment, and I believe it was Gorilla Monsoon was calling the match with him, and it was like, oh no, there's your money, there goes your free ride. And Heenan, no, this isn't, his lines are like, this isn't fair to Flair, and when someone would help Flair, yes, I've always liked you, you're the best, and then someone, no, screw you, damn you, leave Flair alone, this isn't fair. Throughout the match, it wasn't just that, he wouldn't just repeat that, he was just, his emotions were coming out. As the match progressed, he got more and more frantic and more insane, and he was just maniacal near the end, because all of a sudden, Flair was in the very end. He's like, oh, he's made it this far! I can't believe it! And he's just, one of the greatest performances by a commentator in history. He literally made the match much more entertaining than it actually was. And it's something I actually still go back, I wanted to watch it last night, but I couldn't find an hour and a half, 2 hours to watch the actual Royal Rumble match. To sit down, and it's always been a match I have the Euro, even before the network. I have most of these on DVD because that's how much of a fan I am. I have a bunch of this stuff on DVD, so I would occasionally. We have a viewer. I know, that's why I was looking up. We have a viewer.
Hi.
Thank you. We managed to get back onto Twitch. It wasn't working earlier, but we're back on Twitch. But it was amazing, yeah. Heenan, and that's always the example of people always say, a lot of the articles that you saw online yesterday about Heenan, people were always referencing, yay, Crunchy, woo! Thank you for watching, bro. We weren't on earlier because the internet was being awful.
Crunchy, I went in on your Destiny clan.
Yeah, oh yeah, Sam wants to join your Destiny 2 clan.
Thank you.
So he can benefit and help and do all the things that Destiny people do on Destiny 2. And Crunchy says, woo! All right, that sounds like approval to me.
Okay, back to the groove.
Back to the group. That's always been cited as Bobby Heenan's greatest performance is the 1992 Royal Rumble. A lot of these, in memorams, all these articles are posted about Bobby Heenan, but he was one of the best, and he was an integral throughout the 70s, 80s, even into the 90s, where he left WWE, WWF, and went to WCW, and he was a part of some of their big moments over there. When it was funny because the night that Hulk Hogan turned into a bad guy. It's like, oh, Heenan was, because Bobby Heenan would always say, oh, Hogan is awful. I don't know why everyone sees it. And then it was like this redeeming moment for Bobby Heenan. Like, I was right. Hogan's evil. Look, I was right. I was right the whole time. I was right for 20 years. And there's this hilarious moment of Heenan being proved correct when Hogan turns into a bad guy. And Heenan losing his shit that night on Monday Night Raw of I was right. It's true. He was truly one of the greats in that, and it did really. I mean, obviously he hasn't been active in wrestling right now, so he's
been sick.
He's been sick. He had cancer. He had a stroke. I mean, it was the worst. He had a guy who relied on speaking had throat cancer. It's freaking awful.
Yeah.
And But yeah, it's like when he did pass away. Like I saw a lot of my friends were posting on Facebook. A lot of my fellow wrestling fans were all like, "Oh shit!" It's like people didn't know he was sick or didn't know he was in infirmary. Like I feel like some people probably didn't know he was still alive. I mean, it was just kind of it was kind of shocking. But you know, he did. I as a kid, I hated his guts, and as an adult, I appreciate what he contributed. Like I you know, going back watching the network and seeing, man, this guy was a genius. This guy truly was really smart, and he was very entertaining. In an entertainment art form, which is professional wrestling, he was very entertaining and very integral to a lot of the success of many performers.
And
in
he
that.
knew the game.
He did.
He knew exactly what needed to be done at a specific moment. That's why he was such a good commentator. He knew what needed to be said.
Exactly. He knew how to make people seem more important than they actually were, or, you know, direct the attention to what was needed to be directed.
Is he your favorite manager of all time?
I would have to say yes.
Yeah.
If I really think about as far as wrestling managers,
Yeah.
he has to be the best. He's up there. I can't think of any other manager short, like maybe the closest one maybe be like Paul Heyman when he's doing management. He's like right up there.
Yeah.
But it's just like Heyman is really good at talking, but like just the longevity of
Yeah. Without Heenan, there is no Heyman.
Yeah, exactly. No, like hands down. Without that inspiration, without that, there is no Paul Heyman.
Yeah, I'm also partial to Cornette.
Well, I know you like Jim Cornette. I have mixed feelings about Corny.
Oh, I love him.
Because on screen,
He's
on
a
screen,
dick in all the right ways.
no, but like behind the scenes, he's a fucking shithead and an asshole.
Yeah.
He's treated a lot of people who are talented very poorly.
Yeah, I can imagine. But
Like
that's
one in particular is Kevin Owens / Kevin Steen. That's a guy that he always, because he was overweight, he always gave him a lot of shit and never thought he could succeed, and he has obviously proved him wrong.
Yeah, for sure. But I don't think any of the managers I can remember. I honestly,
There's a lot because Sensational Sherry.
Of all the managers is Slick.
Oh, Slick.
Just
Jive Soul Bro.
just
Jive
because
Soul Bro.
He was the only guy in the
Turned a white guy
entire
black.
wrestling universe that could sell Akeem.
Yeah, he turned a white guy black. I love bringing that up, and when we blew Lamar's mind,
Yeah.
when Lamar was shocked at finding out there was a wrestler who was a white guy who was turned African.
Yeah. Who was partnered with a cop from Cobb County.
Oh yeah, we talked about that on the show here a few weeks ago. I remember singing the Boss Man theme.
Yep, I remember that.
So let's shift gears here. We're gonna shift gears. We're gonna talk about video games for the rest. We're gonna pull the parachute. We're gonna go back to our good old reliable topic. Video games. There's been a few articles. There was a couple of articles that came out in the last 6 days where I really want to touch upon this. This morning, I actually saw a great article about the cost of video game development. One of the writers from Kotaku, he wrote a book talking about a lot about game development. Where it's something that I frequently bring up on this show, is that people don't understand the cost of creating a game, and those costs continue to skyrocket, and yet the how much you pay for a game really hasn't changed in the last 10, 20 years. It's only gone up. It's only gone up a fraction. I mean, like we paid $40 for PS1 games, and like PS2 and PS3 games we paid like $50, or PS2 was $50, and then PS3 and PS4 games. Like to just use those as those generations. Like the current generation is $60.
Yeah.
The last two generations have been $60, and I feel over the cost of production has gone up so much. Where they cited, like, they wouldn't say exactly what the actual budget of some of these major games would be, but some of the developers would say the rough cost of a game is literally, depending on the number of people you have not even depending on the number of people. Each person you have working on the game, that roughly equates to $1,000 a month, or $10,000 a month. That's not just their salary, but that also includes the cost of the office, the cost of all the things, of payroll, all the other things that a lot of things that you don't see.
Yeah.
Like a lot of these unseen costs.
The
administrative stuff, the logistical stuff, paying for an office space, paying for internet, paying for equipment. It's $10,000 per month per person on a game. So if you have 5 guys. 5 naked guys.
Yes,
Fucking you.
this game.
5 naked guys developing your game. So I couldn't help myself there. I had to make the callback to Hall & Oates. If you have 5 guys working on a game for a year, that's $50,000 a month for a year. That's like, so you're talking like that. Like, I can't do quick math because I'm getting old, but that's a shitload of money working on 1 year. That's why a lot of these Kickstarters, that's why they ask you for about like $2-3 million, and that's maybe if they get the game done in a year, hopefully that can pay for them so they can continue to live.
Yeah.
Because this game would then become their job, pay for all office space, time, equipment, all these things. And a lot of people, I feel like people don't realize that. It's like, oh, they're charging $60 for a game. Fuck them. That's too much. Where like in reality, for some of these games, we should be paying way more. I mean, like realistically, some games we should be paying like $100 for, like no questions asked. And then some of the big. One of the big things people complain about nowadays is downloadable content, like where you're forced to purchase, some games force you to purchase more. Other games, they make it optional, where it's like, oh, you're buying optional things that you don't need. Or they put more story in where you have to pay more. And that's kind of to help subsidize some of these crazy, insane costs. And it's not a good trend. I want to say this off the bat. It's not a good trend for the industry because the cost to make games keeps going up and up and up. And a lot of these games are failing because they'll invest all this money into these games, and if they don't sell 2, 3, 4 million copies of this game off the bat, that's like, I'm talking about if 2 million people don't pay $60 for this game, if people wait, buy it used, I know that's a big thing, buy it used or wait for it to be on sale or wait for it to drop in price, that's where like you see so many really talented game developers, because a lot of the developers are really getting hurt, because then the publishers are like, well, we can't go to you because this game didn't succeed, so we're not going to ask you to make the sequel, or we're going to make a different game for us. Yeah. So like really talented game studios are closing down. Like it's been happening for the last 10 years. Really good developers are losing everything. It's just now we reached this point where the most popular games are like these cookie cutters, where it's like, oh, Call of Duty, God of War. I mean, I just to pull like Uncharted, just try to pull like popular names out of the air, where like stuff that does succeed, where stuff succeeds more on the brand than on the actual game, and then that's where they can comfortably invest, $300-400 million, because some of these teams, like every Call of Duty game takes about 3 years to make, and you're talking about teams of hundreds, and you're talking about $10,000 a head for 3 years, and you're talking about 300, 400, 500 people. You're talking the budget's in the $200-300, half $1 billion, and you have to hope the game makes $1 billion to hopefully get your money back and then some. It's a troubling trend in the game industry, and I've said it before on the show. I fear we're headed towards another video game crash, where all of a sudden like people are like, we can't make games anymore. We're only gonna make cell phone games. Like we're a big company like EA is gonna be like, we're gonna only make cell phone games now. Well, I mean, I don't think it's going to happen to them because they still have Madden, they still have FIFA, they have those. But you're talking about some companies might just decide we're only going to go mobile because that's the only way we can sustain.
It's why you also see more companies starting to do more microtransactions and more DLC and trying to sell season passes. And
exactly,
because they know that. For example, we were talking a while back about Final Fantasy VII, how it's going episodic. The reason why is for the development cost. They need to be able to make the other episodes with the money
that's true.
From the first episode.
Yeah, that's true. They can't just do one disc and hope that they sell X amount of copies, just because they're going to have to continue to. That's going to be a giant undertaking in and of itself. They'd always been feared, like that game in specific. We've sat here and discussed that game at length here before. Just the scope of that game, the time would require to make that. They'd said that it would be logistically impossible, but now, because they can distribute it over time. Yeah. They can ask you to pay more. Hopefully try to justify the actual cost of development through episodes. If they ask you, $20 an episode or whatnot, or it's like $100 for the season pass, or however they decide to break it down to where Square can hopefully recoup their money.
You better believe they're going to be making it so that if you want to breed the right chocobo, you better pay more.
Yeah, if you want the correct green, the correct items, the correct Gasol greens, you have to buy. Because right now, the game you and I have been playing for the last 2 weeks, Destiny 2. Yeah. Right now, they have an in-game currency where you can buy stuff. It's, for the most part, it's like 99% cosmetic. There are a few, there's weapon modifications that you'll get in some of those packages. But beyond that, it's supposed to be all cosmetic, but they want you to They want you to spend a little more than, I went in $100. I bought the digital version with the 2 expansions and whatnot.
See, I wasn't sure how invested into the game I was going to be this time around.
Right, exactly. No,
standard basic version.
yeah, exactly, and that's sensible from your part because you don't want to invest into a full year if you're not going to go that full year, that extra $40 or whatnot.
Yeah, and there's so many other games coming out over the next 2 months that I'm sure I'm not going to be playing.
That may take your attention. Like me, I know I'm going to probably just be playing this game primarily. There are other games that I want. I mean, I bought Metroid for the 3DS, the Samus Returns.
Yeah.
I have some mixed feelings about that game.
I'm looking forward to the South Park game.
Oh, naturally,
the
yes.
Assassin's Creed game. There's a few games I'm really looking forward to. I might actually go and get the NBA game soon too. It's coming out midnight tonight.
No, it came out last week, my friend.
Oh, well, no. For some reason, it's saying it's out today.
Oh, well, if you pre-ordered the game, you got it on Friday. If you did not pre-order the game, it comes out tonight.
See, I didn't pre-order because I wasn't planning on getting the game until they came out the all-time.
Oh, it's funny. I probably could have. At Best Buy, I could have walked in and bought it last night at Best Buy. I saw the one. They had the Legend Edition with Shaq on the cover.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. I don't want to spend $100.
Right.
Even though it is Shaq on the cover, it's like, you know what? I'm not. Sam from 5 years ago would have been yes. Sam now is like, I need to save my money for my baby.
Yeah, you have a child now. The children put things in perspective. We were discussing this in the drive over, where a friend of ours ended a relationship because the other person wanted a child, and he's like, bye.
That one article that I posted.
Which one?
About the guy who broke up with the girl over Destiny.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that was very amusing. It was like, it's me or the game. Like, all right, it's the game. Bye. A dude chose Destiny over his girlfriend.
Yeah. Hey, she didn't get it, and I'm sure there are women nowadays out there that will get it.
It's funny because the conversation tree that happened in that article. It was really curious to see her perspective conflict with his perspective. Did you read the article and see it? Because he was trying to explain it was his time where he'd get to go online with his friends, and he's just hanging out with them. Like, he has his time with her and then his time with the game, and she's like, no, she wasn't having it. It's like, no, the game can't be more important than me. It's like, yeah, it can. I value my personal time. And it was like how it degenerated. It was insane. Something else I want to touch upon there. One of my Facebook friends a couple weeks ago, she posted this status update where she said, "Oh, if a guy plays more than 2 hours of video game a week, we can't date." And then she's like #adult or adulting. And I was like, and I remember I was really offended by that. I was like, wait a minute, if you play video games more than 2 hours a week, you're not an adult.
Yeah.
It's like, what? If I watch Netflix more than 2 hours a week, does that mean I'm not an adult either? It's like, it's a form of entertainment. It's like, it's something that people consume. It's funny because I've always thought, okay, video games are really accepted. It's much more accepted now. It's an acceptable form of entertainment. Where back in the early '80s, like the mid '80s to the early '90s, games were always just, it's for kids. Video games for kids.
Fortunately, we were kids then.
We were kids then. Yes, yeah. We were that generation, and also I feel we really are that first generation that didn't stop.
Yeah.
Because I felt like, because in the 70s with Atari and all that stuff, it was always frowned upon. Like, if you kept playing when you were an adult, that's a toy.
Yeah.
It's a toy. That's how Nintendo branded NES. The NES was that's how they got it here to America. It's a toy.
Now it's a sport on NBC.
It's a sport on all the channels, on NBC, on ESPN, on
a Netflix series, I think, coming out about this stuff, putting together a team.
Yeah, it's funny. And I remember seeing that status update where I was just like, there are still people who view video games as childish, and I was I didn't respond because I knew it was like, okay, it would be pointless. I'm like, it would be trying to change someone's belief, and I'm like, you can't change someone's belief. No, you can introduce them to an idea, but clearly that's her belief that gaming is juvenile, and I was just like. I want to say, I'm like, you understand the primary demographic for video games now is like 25 to 35, right? It's like the people who have money. Video game companies have learned over the last 10 years, we need to stop going after kids, or we need to go after the people who actually have wallets. The people who will spend their disposable income on video games as opposed to trying to convince a kid to convince their parents to spend the money on like, oh, please buy me this thing.
And we're going to be 70, 80 years old doing
Our generation is going to be the generation who's still going to keep gaming. And then now it's like, as you know, the next generation is all these esports kids who are treating it like a sport. I've heard lots of people who they play Counter-Strike Global Offensive literally as a sport.
Well,
they can actually make money playing it.
It's not just that. Esports is also like, spurned off to stuff like drone racing and stuff like that.
Yeah, I saw that on. I forgot what channel I saw that. That was like insane.
It's awesome.
That was insane. I forgot. I was at a bar with my buddy D-Loke, and I saw that the drone racing. I sat there puzzled, holding my beer. I was just like, "They're really. This is a competition. They're racing these drones through these crazy obstacle courses."
And their drones, the people who are driving them are wearing VR helmets.
Yeah.
And the camera's on the drone, so they're seeing exactly
It's
what they're doing.
insane.
It's some intense shit.
Yeah, and now it's like, I feel like, years ago that would have been seen as juvenile, but that's where it goes back to this original point. I'm like, I don't see why people think that. It's like probably the same people. Maybe you still get this in the comic shop, that comic books are only for children.
Yeah.
When clearly that has not been the case for the last 10, 15 years, where comics are now much more direct. It's that same generation. Our generation kept buying comic books, and they all became adult. Actually, I think comic books, it was a generation before.
Yeah.
I think the generation before us were kids that continued to buy comics. Where I think maybe in the 60s and 70s, that was more like, people threw away their comic books back then because they were seen like newspapers. You'd read it and then you throw it away. I think that's the reason why people don't understand the comic books, why the old books are worth so much, is because the majority of the old books were disposed of like newspapers, and they're rare, hard to find, and now you can't get them. That's hence the value. Where all comic books after 1992, everyone kept them. And they're not rare. That's why X-Men #1 can be found for 25 cents from 1992, because 1 million copies of them were printed. And there's still 1 million of them. People did not throw them away. People thought, I'm going to save this X-Men #1. In 20 years,
my box is full of them.
Yep. In 20 years, 30 years, this comic book will be worth $1,000 because it's the new X-Men #1. Jim Lee. Oh, look at this. It's worth $250. Because everybody kept it.
Did you see that? There's a video floating around like why Action Comics #1 is so rare.
Why?
Because apparently in the back of the book there was a coloring contest where you had to tear the page out and send it in. And the worst part is the page that you tore out was the last page of the story.
Oh, see right there. See stuff like that because people treated these things like newspapers because you get your newspaper, you do the crossword puzzle. That's how people treated these things. So it's insane when you think about a lot of this stuff. It's madness. This is probably the most crazy tangent that we've gone on in the history of the show. We started with game development and we ended in comic books. I don't know how we wound up over here. We have traversed the crazy. I can't trace it back now. This is the best tangent we've ever had. We have tangentially covered so much ground.
We are not tangentially challenged.
No, not at all. I'm like looking at the clock. We have like one more topic I could hit. Now just like
topic?
It was an Overwatch Blizzard one.
Oh yeah, okay.
But I was like, do we want it or do we just want to like sail?
I got a quick 30-second thing for you.
Give me a quick 30-second thing.
Netflix, watch the show American Vandal.
American Vandal.
I want to see that. That looks
It's
hilarious.
It's hilarious. I saw the first 2 episodes and I nearly...
American Vandal. Well, give me the...
Is it real or is it a mockumentary?
Give me the elevator pitch.
True crime series that you see,
Making a Murderer and
that
yada,
stuff.
yada, yada.
This is basically one of the funniest spoofs I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm writing it down. American Vandal.
Yeah. It's about a kid who is a known asshole in his school who has a proclivity to go and draw dicks on the chalkboard and stuff like that.
Of course you like this show, Sam. You love dicks.
There's
No?
a scandal that broke
better.
out because somebody went and spray painted 27 dicks on 27 cars.
Huh.
And everybody blamed him.
Is there going to be a Katherine Heigl movie, 27 Dicks?
No, everybody blames him, but he maintains his innocence. And the film crew are the ones that are going through all of the evidence for and against it. It's absolutely hysterical.
All right, you've sold me on it. You've sold me on American Vandal on Netflix. Wow, that is very unusual. There was something else I was watching on Netflix recently that was not Luke Cage. I still need to get back to Luke Cage. Freaking Destiny 2 came out, and it completely derailed me from playing, from watching the rest of Luke Cage. I was very diligent up until the game came out. I was very diligent in working my way through that, and I want to finish it. I know you and I were talking about this privately, where I feel like Luke Cage is probably the best produced Netflix show I've seen so far, just from top to bottom. Just the overall production, the music, the freaking atmosphere, the backgrounds, the freaking sets, the acting, everything has just been amazing. Yeah, I haven't enjoyed watching a show this much in a very long, not since Mad Men. That was the last show where I feel like everything was thought of. There wasn't just fuck it, we'll just film it here, we don't care. Everything was carefully put together. Yeah. And of course to put both of you said it. It's Black Dynamite, but more serious. It's a more serious, and it really is. Yeah. Luke Cage. He's slyly funny sometimes, but no, he's like a really serious freaking Black Dynamite. Something's going down in the hood, he goes and punches a motherfucker. It's been really good.
Yeah, it's a really good one. You see they released the second trailer for Punisher today?
Oh, did they? Oh shit.
It looks like, what was the first Rambo? Was it First Blood?
First Blood.
That's what it looks like. He's hunting these soldiers in the forest.
Oh my god.
I don't know why, but...
Oh shit, a First Blood with frickin' the dude from frickin' Walking Dead. Yeah. that sounds like it. I am not opposed to this. Yeah. Actually, it was funny. At first, I didn't like his Punisher. The first episode or two of Daredevil season 2, I didn't like his Punisher. But as the series went on, I really did enjoy his Punisher a lot more. As they kind of fleshed out the Frank Castle, all the whole stuff, and then finding out which, if you haven't watched it yet, freaking Clancy Brown, voice of freaking Lex Luthor. Yeah. I always think of him as two things. That one actor, Clancy Brown. I always think of him, Lex Luthor, from the Justice League shows and from the Superman shows, and the Shawshank Redemption. Oh yeah. The shitty guard that made Andy Dufresne's life a living hell, who did eventually end up going to jail. I always think of him. So whenever I see him and stuff, I'm like, hey, it's Lex Luthor and the shitty guard. Because I'm that guy when I'm watching shows. Yeah. And it's like, oh hey, it's so and so. I've seen you before. I like pointing out things.
Hey, it's me!
Amazing callback. Amazingly awful callback. So I'm going to save this topic for next week. We'll talk about this. It's another video game topic. But yes, I am still sitting here trying to figure out how the fuck we got from game. Because I know we shifted the comic books to try to. I tried to relate it to you.
How the people think it's for kids.
Oh yeah, it's the whole when people were not taking gaming seriously. Oh yeah, okay. I remember all my tangents now. I talked about the girl who said that gaming, 2 hours of gaming is immature. 2 hours a week, like some of the. I do freaking 2 hours a day. And when Destiny 2 came out, I'm logging right actually because I'm just like 2-3 hours a day right now. I've gotten old, man. I'm falling asleep at midnight.
Dude, I've been having the same issue. I've been trying to stay up, and I'm like, no, I'm gone.
I'll wake up and I'll wake up an hour later. And my character is logged off, because it auto logs you off after a few minutes. It kicks you off. Oh, you were sent back to orbit. Oh, you've been logged out because you were inactive. I'm like, oh wow, I fell asleep. I'm getting old, man. I can't.
Puddle of drool forming on your code.
Yeah, it's like the controller's dying because you weren't just. I'm literally falling asleep in my chair. I can't do it anymore. I'm turning 38 next week. 38. I can't.
You know what's going to happen? This is honestly what's going to happen by the time we're 70. There's going to be a ton of trolls playing online multiplayer games where they're just you have yeah, you fucking suck.
You're the worst thing I've ever seen. And I've been gaming for 50 years, you little shit.
I've been playing this shit for 75 years. You are the worst goddamn player I've ever seen.
I played the original Nintendo, you fuck.
I'd say kill yourself, but you're gonna do it anyways. You're just gonna die.
You're just gonna die. But you're gonna die before me.
It must really piss you off that I'm gonna outlive you.
Your mom is my nurse. She changes my shit bag. That's gonna be old man fucking trash talking. I'm gonna make your mom wash my balls. Literally. I'm taking shits bigger than you. Oh man, I can't wait for old man trash talk.
Oh,
Holy
so
shit, dude.
That's gonna be so much fun.
Oh, fuck. Oh. I can't believe we just stumbled upon this organically.
You know what? We need to make a video out of this. We actually need to make a viral video out of this. 7 years down the line, gamers from today, the trolls that they are, picture them when they're 70, 80 years old, and then there's always going to be that one guy who's like that much older, like how we are with the normal gamers right now, with the average gamers. We're going to be in our 90s, and they're going to be in their 70s. They're talking to like, I remember when we used to have longer loading times. Commodore 64, bitches.
I remember when we still used cartridges. You don't know what a fucking... The only cartridge you know is your fucking vaping machine, you bitch.
The last 5.5-inch floppy you saw was in your pants.
We're out of control. See, someone was asking me about the podcast. I'm like, we talk about geek stuff, but then we spin out of control sometimes. We just let go of the steering wheel and we just go sometimes.
I'm sorry, we just crossed over into Old Man Geek River.
Old Man Geek River. Get off my lawn, you bitch! Playing MMORPGs and I'm, get off my digital lawn! This is what we do on this show.
I'm going to be the old guy going,
Eat all the dicks. Everyone.
Tell your mother about this bag of dicks. I'm sure she'll love to suck all of them. You don't even understand what a bag of dicks is, you young little bitch. Whippersnapper. The only blowjob you've ever gotten is blowing on an old Nintendo cartridge. Back when we had to blow shit.
You still haven't left your mother's basement.
We're just degenerating now. I can't stop smiling. It's so ridiculous.
we need to make this viral video.
I know some makeup people who can make us look old. Or
God.
all we gotta do, well, actually, if I let my hair grow out, it is already gray on the sides.
Dude,
So
see, I'm all in on this. I think that'd be fun.
we'll spray some whatever to turn this even grayer. I'll take my 10 gray hairs and make it into the full gray. Like, oh, you little bitch! I want to make your mom wipe my ass. Oh my god!
I can't walk, but I'll still find you and kill you in your sleep.
I want to escalate so much further. But I know I shouldn't. So, for those of you who are really enjoying this, you can always follow us on Facebook. Facebook.com/DreGP Podcast. You can follow the show on Twitter at DreGP Podcast. If you want to watch the show live, you can see it, all three of us collapse in fear, just like our friend Crunchy Sashimi who's watching us right now. You can always find us at twitch.tv/DreGP Podcast when it is working. You can follow.
We have 100% functionality. Functionality.
You can follow this madman at SamZ570. You can follow this kind fellow at nostalgic_comics. You can follow me on at SoCalClone on Instagram. I draw things occasionally. Sam is eating my brains currently. It's out of control. We have 2 viewers. We have Iceberg and Crunchy Sashimi. on Wednesdays, if you really want to get balls deep into comic books, you can watch the Multiverse Comic Show. That's Pete Molini's show, where I'm his sidekick, and we talk about brand new comics and whatever is happening in comic books. Just like I forgot to talk about Colin Trevorrow this week.
Who?
The guy who was the director of Episode 9 of Star Wars, but he got fired.
Oh.
Like I said in the Facebook post on Facebook, yeah, I'm going to forget to talk about this on Monday. Totally did. And occasionally,
but you just talked about it, so
I know, we're good. And occasionally on Saturdays, I did not do Dre versus the Super Nintendo this past Saturday because I was playing Destiny. I got home, started playing Destiny, and about like an hour in, I'm like, I didn't do the Super Nintendo show tonight. Oh well. So actually, this Saturday, I will not be doing Dre versus Super Nintendo. It'll be Dre versus Rock Band, as my birthday party will be happening during the hour I normally do the Super Nintendo show, so I'll be live streaming my birthday party.
Yeah, and I'll be live streaming Sam versus Dulcie.
Sam versus Dulcie. Thank you for watching. If you've been watching on Facebook, thank you for watching. If you're watching us on Twitch, thank you for watching over there. Thank you, Crunchy and Iceberg. If you're listening to us on iTunes, thank you for downloading the song. Downloading this. It's a terrible song. I mean, honestly.
It's a very long song.
It's a very long.
Guys.
Are fucking you. 5 naked guys are suing me.
Oh, you could have used some kind of... Well, you could have made the stereotypical lawyer joke on that one.
Huh?
Oh, because they're suing you in there.
5 Jewish guys.
5 Jewish... Oh!
I turned off the mics for it.
Damn it!
We missed the joke!
We missed the joke! Thank you for watching. Have a great night. Please, and Facebook friends, if you want us to keep doing this and hopefully turn this into some sort of enterprise, please share this video. Last week we had our lowest viewership ever, and I had to go on Facebook and try to guilt you all into watching this. So, please share this video with your friends so they can see how insane we are.
And if you spend $1,000 on our Patreon... we will kindly fillet you.
See, I was thinking it was going to have to be something sexual. Yeah, it was going to have to be something sexual. If they give us...
Be loving. You will get the boyfriend experience.
We will make eye contact. Or won't. If you don't want eye contact, we will make eye contact. For $1,000. God, hookers don't even charge that much.
Yeah, but there are 3 of us. Usually I have to pay extra for that.
You have to pay extra for the threesome. For my cohorts, I'm Dre Cervantes. This is Dre's Geek Philosophy. Thank you very much. Please share on all forms of media. Please share. As Mystery Science Theater 3000 say, keep circulating the URL. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Goodbye.